Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I hope you all are doing well. This is the first episode of the Transfer Watch Show on Chelsea Perspective, and hopefully it will be a brilliant one. I expect a few panelists to join me as soon as possible. If not, I'll go solo, and believe me, it will still be fun. Today we'll be discussing on the Chelsea Football Club's links to Ousmane Dembele, whether the deal is done or not, whether you know, it's still being discussed. And also, we'll talk about Jules Kounde also. Again, there are quite a lot of stuff out there. We will look at them and try to come to a sensible conclusions. So to educate you better on what's really going on. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, we will welcome back to Chelsea Perspective and the first episode of the Transfer Watch Show. Today we'll start off like I've already told you, the guys you're seeing, the two players you're seeing on the thumbnail, that's Ousmane Dembele and Jules Kounde, both of which are heavily linked to us. And there are talks, although like I said before, there are conflicting reports on what's really going on. Some are saying that with Dembele, we've completed the signing of Dembele, that he's joined it already. And if you do a search, most people are actually searching for Dembele medical again. But we'll see what happens. And again, let's get into the business immediately. But first, I want to see what we have in the chat. Well, at this point, we only have Steve Chelsea in the chat, and it says smash the like button, people. And yes, I do appreciate that because already we do have 16 likes, and that's not easy because the show is just starting. Again, like I said, we'll have to get into it immediately. Let me see what's out there. We'll try to read the news for you. Here it says that Todd Boely makes a shock. Jules Kounde Chelsea transfer request at Sevilla eyes 3 replacements. The rumors there, if you read through it, you can find the link yourself and go through it. The rumors are that Todd Boely has spoken with Jules Kounde and has asked him to be patient, that we're coming from him. To me, that's a sign that we're really serious about him. And then again, the most important thing, I think we'll read one of the tweets of the shows where Kounde himself, he really does want to join Chelsea Football Club. He's made up his mind to come to us since we started going after him. I just thought the deal fell through due to the behavior of Sevilla, who knew at that point that we had already sold Kurt Zouma to West Ham United, and they wanted, to take us for a ride, but we refused. So again, it's all good news coming from the aspect of signing Jules Kounde. And if you're in the chat, and I think at this point we have just one person in the chat, but if you're there, let me know what you think about the fact that if that's the truth, that Todd Boely, that he is spoken with Jules Kounde. That means he's serious, and that means he recognizes how important he will be to the rebuild process. And should I say, so good evening, everyone in the chat, and Coachella, good evening to you, my brother, from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Nice to see you. I appreciate that. And we have Arabo Stefan saying good evening. Good evening to you, Arabo. Please do let us know where you're joining us from. Always nice to see people join the show. That I sincerely do appreciate that. Let us know where you're watching from. That encourages us to do even more. So I'm going to find a tweet that Sheila did share with me here. I think it's something that has to do with the juicing the pursuit again. It's important that we look at it. Let me find it here quickly. And again, we have 19 people watching, and we already have 20 likes. So that's actually brilliant. We're doing quite well in terms of the likes. But I urge you, wherever you're watching from, if you haven't, please just take a second to like the video. It doesn't cost anything. It is free, by the way. Let me try and find the tweet from Sheila because it's important to, while that loads, I'll continue to read other, things we have there regarding the Jules Kounde deal. The truth is, from everything I've seen, it is clear that the deal is edging even closer. It says Sevilla have already accepted that Jules Kounde will be joining Chelsea Football Club this summer. The transfer fee will be around 50 to 60 million, and that's way cheaper than the price they were quoting us when they knew that we had already lost Kurt Zuma to West Ham United, and they wanted, to make the most of exploit the opportunity, and they were asking for around 80 plus or 70, but I'm not sure the exact number, but still what they did there wasn't fair, and it's a good thing we did not bulge and give them the money they were asking then. But again, there's other questions we have to answer since what's his name? Trevor Chalobah plays in that position, and he did quite well. He did quite well in the absence. He did quite well when we thought we were in trouble because we didn't sign Jules Kounde. He executed the role perfectly. And that begs the question: what happens to Trevor Chalobah when Jules Kounde comes? If you're in the chat, let me know. He says, yes, again, says, good work. Thank you very much, Francis Dumenga. Nice to see you here. If you can join us on YouTube, that would be great. And right now we have about watching from Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much, brother, for joining us. Sergio Ba, do let me know if I pronounce your name correctly. And right now we have 21 likes, while we have 22 people watching, 25 people watching. I know we can do better than that, but that's by the way. Thank you for joining anyway, and I do appreciate your support. The channel wouldn't be growing this fast if it wasn't for people like you. So again, I'm going to put out a poll later again to see what you guys think that will happen to Trevor Chalobah should Jules Kounde join us. I want us to look at this tweet too. I hope it opens properly. I'm looking for the one that my brother shared with me. Sheila, I don't know this. That's not. Is that the one you shared with me? I think it is. Yeah. Yep. That's correct. It says, like reported a month ago, Dembele to join Tuchel CFC. Like I reported weeks ago, Dembele agreed personal terms with CFC. CFC working to wrap up the deal. I will go back to that in a bit when we start talking about Dembele. I didn't know it was about Dembele. I think we've read this one. And this one here says, update, again, like reported in 2021, Koundé has set his mind up to join Chelsea Football Club, and only Chelsea personal terms agreed before the sanctions. Again, agreed with Sevilla, CFC concentrated to negotiate deals based on fees. Koulibally, Gavidio, Lewandowski, and other people mentioned that. But we're talking about Jules Kounde here. The good thing is there are signs that he's coming towards, given everything that we're seeing in all our outlets out there. And we see here, this says, ITM says, I don't know much about Koundé, but I'm excited about Moussa Dembele. Here's what you need to know about Jules Kounde. I think maybe if you take it, although the truth is highlights on YouTube can be, misleading. But in this case, I've gotten the opportunity to watch full games or Sevilla games that he participated. He played from start to finish. He's a brilliant tackler. He's also brilliant with the ball on his feet. And he's also got, I think you could argue that Jules Kounde is a mashup of, you could say, Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger, in the sense that he's very aggressive. And he's also really, really good on the ball. Again, he can actually execute a midfield role quite well if you deploy him there. And he makes that run that, if you remember the Antonio Rudiger signature run, where he runs from our own half, sometimes from our defensive area to the opponent or to the final third. Well, that's a good Jules Kounde does that very well. Whenever he finds spaces and he progresses the ball and eats up the space and then makes the most out of it. And I think, and even though he's not that tall, he's got quite a leap in him. That's one of the things that makes him special. I'm going to talk about it, continue talking for a while before I bring anybody in. But already I've sent the links out. I think everybody, even Nick, Eric Blue, and Declan, they all have the link. So if they let me know if you can't see it. Here, I have my Nigerian brother, Eric Blue, saying good afternoon. Yes, it's afternoon here. It's 1 p.m. for me. And I know, I don't know where you are, but you said afternoon probably because it's afternoon for you too. And again, I appreciate you finding time to be here, brother. I hope so you did well. I always like to speak pigeon to you whenever I see you. Again, can we just assign defenders? Again, for obvious reasons, the defensive department will be the club's priority, and that's because we'll be losing about 4 defenders, if not 5 of them. We will be losing. We'll be losing already. Antonio Rudiger is gone. Marcus Alonso will be leaving. We've lost Andreas Christensen, and there's a chance that Cesar Azpilicueta himself leaves. I think he's just being a bit cautious with his decision whether to leave or not to leave because he loves the club so much, and he's being a great servant of the club and probably wouldn't want a situation where if he leaves, then we'll be in a serious problem. Again, let me continue reading what we have here. Saying Trevor has nothing to worry about because he will get game time next season. How much is dependent on the players' board and system TT utilizes. Again, Trevor now, you could argue he is an established player. And I don't know, has he gotten an England call-up? And I'm not sure, you let me know. But the truth is, he's good enough to be an England international. And that being said, with that in mind, he'd be looking to start as many games as possible so as for him not to lose his place or to gain a place in the England squad, or not to lose his place in the English squad if he hasn't, that is, if he's gained a place there already. So it becomes a very, very, difficult situation to manage because he has not been bad. He's held his own. Or maybe Thomas Tuchel will find a way to manage all the players and keep them happy and not to lose any of them. Again, it will be difficult, but we'll see what happens. And LDN here now, that takes us to the Ousmane Dembele topic. There are quite a lot of conflicting reports out there. Some people say the deal is already confirmed. Some say, again, if you do a Google search on Dembele Medical, you get quite a lot of results. That's because people are searching. And probably, the trend doesn't mean, the fact that a lot of people search for it doesn't really mean that Dembele, has the deal has been completed. It just means that quite a lot of people have searched for that particular topic. And for Dembele, I don't think it's completed yet. And you got to know, no player joins you until the window opens. And again, Dembele's case, I'm not sure it's that straightforward. Yes, he wants to come to us. And again, I'm just going to repeat myself. Like I said before, there are quite a ton of conflicting reports out there. And Charlie Chow, correct me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. The truth is, he's not been confirmed. If it's that, you see it on the club's website. That's when you can say, well, oh, we got him. He's been confirmed, but that's not the case at this point. Again, everything we're hearing are just rumors, because if you look at them, it doesn't really make sense. Some say he's waiting on Chelsea. Some say the deal is done. Everything is done. It's just a matter of announcement, which isn't possible. So if you're in the chat, let me know what you think. And Eric Blue here, my brother says, I did well, brother. It's evening for me. I thought as much because I think you're in the UK. So good evening to you, brother. Always welcome here. Here, let me see if there's anything else to address here. Evening peoples in live, no limit. One of the biggest supporters of this channel here. Always nice to see you. I hope you're doing well, my brother. And Sheila, I remember last season against Brentford, first leg after international break, no Rudiger and Silva, but Chalobah and Sa, they did a good job. But they weren't perfect, but they did well. You're very welcome, Charlie. So, and with that, please, I'm reaching out to everybody who's watching to please take a second to like the video. The more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and the stream will be pushed to more people who'd be interested in this particular topic. Again, I say it's no England cap for treble yet. Tomori hardly gets one. He just needs to be consistent, and then his mainstay in the he will become a mainstay in the team. We'll see what happens, but I'm really concerned what happens to Chalobah once we complete the signing of Jules Kounde, because they play in the same position, except if the plan is to gradually move Jules Kounde in the center of the back three as Thiago Silva ages. He's good enough to fulfill that role quite well, but the question remains, will he be as calm as Thiago Silva? And if you're in the chat, do let me know also what you think. Even the editor of Chelsea Perspective blog, Olaoluwa, again, argued that there's a problem with Koundé's height, but I've argued otherwise because he's got a great leap in him. And if you're in the chat, let me know if you're concerned about his height. If that's the case, I'd say don't worry at all, because that will not be a problem at all. Again, let's look at why there's a chance he joins Chelsea Football Club. The fact is he's had his best form under Thomas Tuchel. Again, at Borussia Dortmund, he was brilliant for him. He was scoring goals, he was creating chances, and then he's not the player, to shy away from taking on the opponent defenders, which you could argue has always been one of the biggest problems the current team has. Is the players shy away from taking on opposition players when they defend deep or when they press us aggressively. But with Dembele, it doesn't matter how aggressively you approach him or how deep the opponent's defense. He doesn't shy away from taking away opponents. And another concern that's a concern people has always had has been his disciplinary record. That's a word I always find difficult saying. But again, the argument here will be for him will be, he's mature now. He's a family man now. He's become better. He's learned from his mistakes. And as we grow, there are things we don't do anymore. Again, I think he's a better man now. And there's no way we'd sign Dembele without people, always referencing, the racial discrimination issue or the racism role that, that he got himself involved in, including Antoine Griezmann. The truth is he was a kid. And to Barcelona, it was nothing because they understood then he was a kid. But then all of a sudden, they decided to make the video public because they had the chance not to allow it go public. They decided to make it public because they were concerned about the salaries of Ousmane Dembele and Antoine Griezmann, both of which you can argue two out of their highest salary earners there after Leo Messi. And so it just doesn't make sense. They just wanted to do away with the player. Again, my only real concern will be how long will he stay fit? That's a question that one cannot, answer clearly until, he comes to start playing for us. But you can argue also that of late he's not been injured for a while. At Barcelona, he's played for a few months now without getting injured, and that surprises me. I hope long may that continue because it's looking more likely that he is going to join us. Again, we'll see what happens. But the question I want to ask, where does he fit in our team? Because basically, the way we play wingers, you could argue, have been converted to number 8 just to accommodate him in the team because the wing backs in the 3 at the back system, they bump forward a lot. You could say their primary, the primary responsibility of the wing backs, is to attack. Yes, they are also tasked with defending, but primarily they're always in attacking oppositions. In the final third, supporting the attack, and sometimes invert and support the midfield, which was brilliant to see, especially in the game against was it Norwich City and also Southampton, if you ask me. So again, that begs the question: where will he? How does he fit in? That again, that's you could argue. Dembele signing is you could say a huge giveaway that there's a chance, even though Thomas Tuchel has said publicly that he's not going to change the system. It's you could argue that that's a giveaway that he may well change the system come next season because Dembele likes to play out on the flanks, but he can also fulfill the number 8 role. It depends. So if Tuchel plays 3 at the back and decides to play with 2 8s like he usually does, I think Dembele is also your man because he's a creator. You could call him a dazzler. He has pace in him, and he's like I mentioned before. He never shies away, from taking on opponent defenders. Again, but the fact remains. Again, one thing that I wanted to mention also is there's been this argument that we're looking. Attacker, forward A, B, C, D to E, F, including Darwin Núñez, including Raheem Sterling, Mo Salah. Again, I have heard nothing about us looking at Mane, but the truth is, I don't think that the time enough to make that many signings. Because again, for obvious reasons, the club's priority will most definitely be the defensive area. But again, let's assume the only real, link now in terms of the defensive area. I'm just going to go to this change this picture where we have Jules Kounde in the picture there. The only real, transfer activity we've heard regarding defenders now is just Jules Kounde. There's nothing else serious. All we heard is this: we're looking at Cucurella. Which would be a good signing for us if indeed we're looking at him. But are we really looking at him? That I cannot tell. And there's a chance Manchester United will poach him right under our noses, because he, again, Manchester City will be a more attractive project for him, if you ask me, because we didn't move quickly. It doesn't look like as if we started talking with him for. When we should have, but it wasn't our fault. Some restrictions were in place that restricted us from talk. We could talk to players, but we were not allowed to finalize deals. So that made it even difficult for us to start talking with players that were really interested in signing. Except also, there's a chance we do know how Chelsea Football Club operate. That's a chance that they've been going about their business, in a stealth mode or behind closed doors like they usually do. Before you know it, boom, we're hearing that the club has signed a player A or B. Now, again, if you are in the chat, let me know if you've heard about this, talking to any other defender except Jules Kounde. So that's concerning. Maybe that's a plan to bring back Levi Colwill, because his numbers does look good. His numbers I think his Huddersfield does look good. And in that game, he was just unfortunate to have been the one to score the own goal. You could argue also they could have won the game, but the officiating was really poor. But that's by the way. Now, looking at the defenders, if you're in the chat, let me know if you've heard anything regarding us looking at any defenders aside from Jules Kounde and if you can think of any defenders that you've heard anywhere that we're seriously looking at, do let me know. At this point, I think it is just Jules Kounde, and that is really concerning to me. And this is still talking to Steve Chelsea again. In Life No Limit says a big up, Steve Chelsea, big up to you in Life No Limit. I know you're talking to Steve Chelsea. And again, if you have a question, if you're in the chat and you have a question, do let me know. In Life No Limit says, what would worry me for Trevor is if Aspi ends up staying next season. I don't understand why Tuchel wants to keep him when he wants to leave. And you see his level is dropping. Again, Aspi, should I say Aspi is more than just a footballer at this time. I think Aspi is an exemplary professional. Aspi also has served the club very well. And Aspi, if we lose him, we're losing a real leader, even though he's not the most vocal on the pitch. But I think he leads by, his commitment. He leads by his behavior. And in the dressing room, I've heard that he's very outspoken in the dressing room. In the dressing room, although on the pitch, it's another thing altogether. And what I want to say is this regarding Azpilicueta. I think it's important that we keep him. He doesn't necessarily have to be starting every game. And I think his experience enough to understand that he's at Chelsea Football Club. And given the fact that the culture, the winning culture that we have at the club, that Chelsea might not be starting every game. And here's the thing: losing at Cesar Azpilicueta will be a risk, given that we've lost Antonio Rudiger already. Losing Cesar Azpilicueta will be no difference from losing the spine of the club, and I think of the team, because we've had that issue before. When we transitioned from the era of Didier Drogba, Michael Ballack, Michael Essien, and all those big names, we lost that spine because we just wanted to do away with all of them because the owner wanted us to play attractive football. But we're wearing a strategic, in our approach in implementing the new way that the owners wanted us to play. So that created more problem for us than we realized until recent years when the charity FC factor emerged. Now, here's where to clarify the difference. To clarify why I'm saying we should keep Cesar Azpilicueta. It's not necessarily because he's going to be starting over Trevor Chalobah, but because we need to be strategic about the transition. Because whether we like it or not, we are in a transition period right now, and we should be strategic about it, or we'll be returning to the very basics in terms of, developing, a sustainable culture, if you want to phrase it that way. So now, the days of Didier Drogba, Michael Ballack, Michael Essien, Ivanovic, and Mikel, when we play mid-table teams or bottom-table teams, you can be rest assured we'll be winning games. But these days, when we play mid-table teams and bottom-table teams, you get scared because of the charity FC factor. And the truth is the charity FC factor is well and truly in existence, whether you like it or not. It is a mentality thing. It is the fact that, we have still lots of young players or even some older ones who, when they see certain teams, they don't give 150% because in the back of their head, we've already won the game. So that's why it's important to keep people like Cesar Azpilicueta until, the transition period, it's over, and you can say, yeah, okay, now we have a team, and the spine is still there. If Cesar Azpilicueta leaves, we'd still be fine. Some will say, well, give the captain to Reece James, to Chelsea through and through. I don't think he's mature enough yet, to fulfill that role quite well. I hope everything I said does make sense. Again, before we continue, I want to see. Right now, we have how many likes? We have 35 likes, while we have 101 people watching. Believe me, we can do better than 35 likes right now. And I urge you to please, to show support to the channel, please take a second to drop a like on the video. The more like we have, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the stream will be pushed to more people who would be interested in this particular topic, and they will join us. And again, if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. And again, if you haven't heard me say that, I want to say it again. Thank you for 2,300 subscribers. We are, in a blistering speed, heading to 3,000 subscribers, and it would not have been possible without you. So thank you again. So please take a second to like the video if you haven't. That would go a long way. Or let me just phrase it that way: if you're happy that we've come through the issue we've had the past few months regarding the sale, with regards to the sale of the club, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you have any questions or you want me to address, go ahead in the chat, because this is an interactive show and it's more fun when I try to address your question whenever possible, and hopefully I'll be able to address them all. Again, I want to see what I think. Again, I've read that and I think I've addressed it well enough. But if you have a counter question or further concerns, do put it in chat. I'd be glad to read it and address it if I can. Again, sorry, I wanted to switch to the next input, but it looks like my screen is frozen. Hopefully, you can still hear me. I'm not sure why that is happening, but again, I will try to catch up if you can still hear me. So, in the case of again, oh come on, why is this thing frozen? It's not helping me. Again, if you can hear me, be patient. I'll sort out the issue. I'm not sure why. Quite probably because lots of installations, making the whole thing go bad unnecessarily. But I think it will be fine. My screen is unfortunately still frozen. Do let me know if you can hear me. I will try to join via the iPad in case if you guys are still not hearing me. Let me see. Where is it here? Again, like I said, I think I'm good. I'm good now, but it's just a bit way too slow, and that's not okay. Ty, welcome to the panel. If you can hear me, so let me try it again and do something. I'm sharing the link so that more people can join us. Again, let me try and catch up here, and then I'll bring Ty Talks in. Yeah, he's fast, but you can think of that again. They're having a conversation there. Same with Pulisic. Smash the like button, people. Yes, my brother says smash the like button. Please do so. We've gained almost 10 subscribers already this evening, and we're doing well. But if you haven't, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Says smash the like button. Please do that. Again, my screen is giving me a serious problem. Let me see how I can sort it out as soon as possible. I'm not sure why it's frozen. Again, Ty, can you hear me? If you can hear me, do say something, please.
Yeah, I can hear you. The thing is, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you crystal clear. Let me just try and catch up with the chat, and then I'll come back to you. I think I know what's slowing it down. I have lots of applications open here, and they're not helping matters at all. So, Ty, like I said, let me just catch up with this guy. Says, should Chelsea consider going for Victor Osimhen? I've talked about that before, and again, from what I'm seeing, this is probably a fellow Nigerian trying to, suggest who would love, our beloved club, Chelsea Football Club, to sign Osimhen. Here's that Osimhen will be dangly expensive. Why did I say that? Napoli paid 80 plus or something million euros for him, and the Napoli owner, and Osimhen also is doing quite well. So if we want to get him from Napoli, I think you'd be paying 100 plus, and I don't think Chelsea will be willing to pay that much money for a striker at Osimhen's age plus. There's no chance he will replicate his form at Napoli at Chelsea Football Club. Brian Porter says, I'm hoping that we can get Koundé and Koulibally, then promote Levi Colwell and Xavier Mbuyamba, and keep grooming Sa with Thiago Silva and coaching all of them. I think most people would disagree with you, especially you, including Sa in the list. But here's the thing: I think Sa stays. I think he's got the potential in him. Maybe it will take him time, to be fully and well integrated into the team. The truth is, he is good enough. We're seeing flashes what he's capable of doing. He says, Sheila says, Captain America doesn't come close to Dembele for pace. Yeah, I don't think Pulisic actually is that quick. He's good on the ball on his day, but he makes good. And then what you always get from Christian Pulisic is runs in behind the opponent defender. Says again, like he missed again on his day. He finishes quite well. I think he's not just being his best. Yeah, I get that, Kuchila, but it's a World Cup year, and he would want to play. That's the problem. Now you make the point. I understand now. if he's ready to stay be a bit part player, then okay. But I doubt it will. We'll see what happens. Maybe he speaks with Thomas Tuchel and they see things differently. We'll see what happens. Chelsea have established their interest in Barcelona fullback Sergio Dest and are willing to offer Marcos Alonso as part of the deal. I think that's when we have to talk about later today because it may well happen given that they want Marcos Alonso and they really don't have money. So the only thing they can offer us is to give us okay, thank you very much for confirming that, Scott. Is to give us the player we're looking for. You understand? Then you take the one you want. It's that simple. Like the video, yes, like the video, people, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So I'm going to go back to the panel, Ty. And Rodrigo, welcome to the panel. Coming to you, Ty. Your thoughts on our pursuit of Jules Kounde? Do you think it's going to happen? Because it's everywhere. We're not sure what's really happening. Yes, we've established that he really does want to join Chelsea. And also we're hearing that Todd Boely has spoken with him. Just let me know what you've heard so far. Maybe you have something, you're aware of something we don't know too that you want to update us about.
Okay, so basically, can you hear me still?
Yeah, crystal clear. Your mic is good.
Okay, so with Jules Kounde, obviously, like you said, we've established that he wants to join Chelsea. He's rejected certain clubs in order to express his hunger, if you can say that, to join the club. And obviously, he's also rejected Premier League clubs as well because we all know that he wants to participate in a new league, and that league is the Premier League. So with
and the club specifically is Chelsea.
Yeah, because I really still don't understand what he really sees in Chelsea. Chelsea's a good team, and I mean,
maybe
I'm not
Thomas Tuchel, and we're good. And again, on the Thomas Tuchel, I think we're a different animal. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and that's the thing because to me, I mean, it came out as a shock because obviously prior to this, we were seeing Man United wanted him and they were close to getting him. So to me, it's really weird. But I mean, with Koundé, he really, it's a case where we know that he wants to come to the club. It's about finalizing with the particular price that is being demanded or probably asked by Sevilla. Sevilla have already accepted that they're going to be losing Koundé. Obviously, we've also heard that despite Diego Carlos going to Aston Villa, Chelsea will not be holding back. They're going to be going for Koundé because they were close to getting him. The player was anticipating getting that move last summer, and unfortunately, Sevilla blocks the move. But they know that they can't do that this time around because they've also found replacements for the both of them. So that's already another indication that they're moving on and they're trying to find a solution and find a new way of life, post Koundé and Diego Carlos. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I think it's pretty close. We know that he wants to come, but I think everything may be finalized after the games that he has for France.
Again, I think Sevilla, they have no option than to let him go now because the more he stays without renewing his contract, the slimmer the chances of Sevilla getting a sizable fee for him. Think about the difference now. At first, they were asking 70 plus. Now it's down 50 to 60, and it could be even less because he wants to join us. So that puts us on a very good negotiating stance, if you want to phrase it like that. So, but a good update from you, Ty. And I'm going to quickly go through here, and then I'll come back to Rodrigo. Again, it says, this brother here says, I would like to see Cho and Dembele on the left and right wing. I think, again, we'll see what happens with Cho, but I think he'd stay. Some people think he wouldn't. I think Thomas Tuchel likes him. He can see, I think you cannot say his like for like with Dembele. I don't know how to differentiate them, but I don't think they are the same type of players. Do we know what Chelsea is valuing Werner, Ziyech, Pulisic, and that impact that might have on their departures? Again, this one thing is sure. Most especially Ziyech. Given the way Thomas Tuchel has treated him, I know some people think otherwise. The fact that I think towards the end of the season, he was in brilliant form. He was scoring goals, creating chances. He's improved in terms of the physical aspect of the game. He's improved aerially. He drops deep to support the defensive play, and yet he got dropped to the bench. Why? I just don't know. So, and as yet being the way he loved the game, I think he's not going to be happy, and he'd be looking to leave. I'd be surprised if that's not the case. I'd be really surprised if that's not the case. And the truth remains, it's very easy for Hakim Ziyech to leave right now. Why do I say that? Because Ten Hag is at Manchester United, and it was under Ten Hag that the world knew who he is, who Hakim Ziyech is. So again, I think we're risking it, but again, he won't leave if the club doesn't want him to leave. And I don't think the club, like Bobby said in the morning during the Blue Morning Show, I don't think the club would risk letting any of the attacking players leave, except if they get a replacement. And this time, you cannot be certain would have time enough to get capable replacement or replacements that that are of the profile that Thomas Tuchel would want to have in the team. So that's an issue. With that, even if they want to leave, I don't think they leave. And Pulisic doesn't sound like he's leaving, because he said that that the new owners are good people and that he's looking forward to his future at Chelsea. But of course, he wants to play more games. That shows you he wants to stay. Except if the club decides they want to sell him, but the replacements more coming first. And like I've said before, the obvious priority right now will be to fix the defensive area. Once that is done, then the club will start looking elsewhere. Again, Dembele being an important signing, given his ability to progress the ball, no matter how you press him or how deep the opponent's defense says. Again, I think they're talking to each other here. By the way, so no one comes from my head. I want Tuchel to stay for many years, but he got quite a few things wrong last season. So I am keen to see what he does with players he brings in. Again, you have to give him a chance because you cannot really blame him for some things that didn't go his way last season. But the jury will be out for him if come next season, he's able to bring in that's the players his demand. The club are able to get him the players he's demanded for. Then, if he doesn't do well, they give him a bit of a time, but they go for another manager. No matter how you see it, I know, but the likelihood of him staying for a long while at Chelsea, given the American ownership and their understanding, they understand the importance, of sustainability and keeping the manager, because it takes time to build a team. There are examples, again, for instance, Liverpool, they built quite a machine, but again, the only issue is that they're predictable. And what's his name? Klopp is also very stubborn in terms of him not switching things up, to get results. He loves playing with 7 defenders instead of 6. Again, you could argue that. But before I go to Rodrigo, please, if you haven't, do like the video. We have 57 likes, and that's not easy. That's fine. But we have 171 people watching, so we should have at least 100 likes. So if you haven't, please just take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Just use this to show how happy you are. Rodrigo, I'm coming to you. Your thoughts on Jules Kounde that was signing. Again, I want to get your thoughts. Where does that leave? What's his name? Trevor Chalobah.
Yeah. So first of all, I have a bit of concern. If I want us to tie this deal ASAP, I still have that doubt in the back of my mind, like it could come to the closer to the deal, and then Sevilla would just pull the plug.
Or someone else will sign him.
Or someone else will sign him. Because
why really? Why? Can you explain?
Because he's a guy in demand. I see him. There are teams teams in Spain like Barcelona looking at him. Maybe United might be coming for him, or other teams. So, but what I'm worried is that we need to. Hopefully, we've agreed everything with the player, and I hope Sevilla are not going to come in the last minute, because they know we're desperate for centre backs and change the price like they did last season. So I
think if I can come in quickly, can I? If you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
Here's what I want to say regarding Sevilla changing their minds. I think I've alluded to that a bit. It's a huge risk, one they don't want to take. They may well force him. He actually wasn't happy. I think he left their camp the other time. So if they do that, he's just going to run down his contract and come to Chelsea. They don't want to risk that. I think if we're going to have any issues, it will most definitely not going to be from Sevilla. It may well be other clubs that are interested poaching him. Barcelona, no, I'm not concerned. They don't have that money.
Nothing the money,
Yeah, they don't. They're still under a series of financial stress, and that's why they're trying to sell some players. Maybe Liverpool. I'm not sure that's going to happen too because they're packed in that area. Again, so I'm not sure who, but there's a chance that happens because it's not concluded yet. But go ahead.
Yes, but in terms of Trevor, can Trevor play in the middle of the back three? Because so far we've been linked to Koulibally, but I don't think we are anywhere near agreeing a deal with them. So if Trevor can play in a back three and be an understudy to Thiago Silva, Trevor, Koundé, and potentially another person that can play on the left-hand side where Rudiger's left. So, so Trevor and Koundé, they will battle it out. If we get a guy that can play in the middle with Thiago, to replace Thiago. As a young defender, I think Trevor will benefit having someone that has world class abilities in Koundé that will push his game, that will elevate his game. I think good competition for Trevor is good for his game. I like Trevor Chalobah. I think he's one of the best defenders that we've produced at Kobe since the Tomori and Marc Gay. So I think he'll benefit from Koundé 100%. I'm not worried about that. I think Trevor when I look at him, he looks like he's a cool kid. He's a kid that will put his head down and work hard and try to prove a point. So, yeah.
Here's one thing I want to say, Rodrigo. You make a good point, but the truth is, again, the truth is this: he will learn quite a lot from Koundé.
Yeah,
I agree. But the truth now, I'm really concerned because from what I've learned from Thomas Tuchel, he has preferences on all the players he has. You know, I've never seen him on Chelsea. I don't think it's a matter of competition. Maybe we could argue because he doesn't have, in each position, he doesn't have two good players in each position. He has only one that's good enough, and the other one is just more what other people rightly call a backup because they're not good enough. But what if really the case is that he always has preferred players, and the other ones he could care less, except if the other ones breaks his leg or loses an arm and a leg before he brings in the other person? Because the way he handled, that's one of my biggest, criticism of him. The way he handled the selection of Edouard Mendy and Kepa Arrizabalaga. That's not me by any chance saying that Mendy that Kepa Arrizabalaga is a better keeper than Edouard Mendy. My argument there has always been he's created a situation where Mendy will feel like he's a god. He will not fear losing his place.
Yeah.
Because he came back from AFCON to join the camp for the Club World Cup, and it was picked.
Yeah, ahead of.
And okay, just as if that wasn't enough, we were thinking, okay, maybe when we come back to England, maybe he's told them, okay, you start. Mendy's going to start that final, and you start the final in the Carabao Cup when you come back to England, and that didn't happen. And you get the point there. Yeah. And it was Mendy. It was Kepa Arrizabalaga who was the keeper, who stood between the sticks, who guarded the sticks between us brilliantly throughout, the knockout stages of the Carabao Cup to the final. It was also Kepa Arrizabalaга's brilliance that made sure we made it to the final. So that's the way you handle something. You show him you trust him to a certain measure, but that's not the case. So that's why I'm raising the concern.
Yeah, but then
Tuchel may well be that type of manager that has a preferred player, no matter how good the other person is, he doesn't care.
Yeah, but to your point though, Tuchel is the one that gave Trevor his big breakthrough at Chelsea. So maybe
why did that happen? You know why that happened?
He couldn't get Koundé.
We couldn't get Koundé. So if Koundé comes in now, what happens to Chalobah? We're not sure until that time, until he comes.
But
You got,
yeah, 100% get your point. But Chalobah can be happy because we don't have we're not packed in defensive area. I don't know. Has Chalobah ever played on the left of the three?
They say he's played there in France, but I think it would be better off with somebody who's traditionally played there. We're actually lucky that Rudiger was able to fulfill that role brilliantly because he's primarily right-footed. So I'm surprised how he was able to do that quite well. But you could argue he's comfortable using his left foot, though. Yeah. So I'm going to catch up with the chat and I'll come back to the panel a bit. And I want to say welcome to one of the resident panelists here, Helgi. Nice to see you here, brother. You know how much I love you, but I understand how busy you've been. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks, Coach. A pleasure for me to be back, and I have really missed it. It's, let's say, temporary period that I'm busy now because I'll be back regularly after the mid-June. But anyway, even though it's temporary in these two weeks, I'm very delighted to be back, and I'm really proud and fulfilled that the channel is growing. So it's a great feeling.
Thank you very much. And with that, I appreciate all your hard work because you one of the, again, the people that whenever I call upon you, you always find time, to join us. So thank you very much. I'm going to try and catch up with the chat, and then I'll come back to Helgi to give us his opinion on, maybe update us on what is here and about Koundé, where we are with this pursuit, and what happens to Chalobah when he comes. And Ataya, I know I haven't asked you that question. I say, is Dembele to Chelsea done? I can't not say. There are conflicting reports out there. Some are saying that he's waiting on Chelsea. Some are saying that the deal has been done. But again, overall, the deal cannot be done until he cannot join us until a deal can be done, but he can't join us until the transfer window opens. But we'll see what happens. Again, it's Dembele to Chelsea. I've answered that question. I really believe we will get Jules Kounde. I think we will get him, but I understand Rodrigo's concern because we are in a very, how do I phrase it now? Is it precarious situation, if you want to phrase it that way, given that we've lost two defenders too, and we haven't no replacement yet. So if we can find a replacement and the season starts, we may have to play with academy players. And this is my brother Fair Boy. Again, why don't I remember? Fair. I think Chelsea Analysis or Player Analysis is the name of his channel. But once he updates me, I will start sharing the link to his channel in the description section. What is happening with Dembele, I'm not sure. The reports are everywhere, but there's a likelihood that he may well come to Chelsea because we've seen the report that he doesn't want to go to PSG. He's rejected them. Yep, I've shared the link, brother. Chelsea, this is just a conversation between those in the chat. I don't think there's anything else to. My friend here, True Blue, and the big supporter of the channel said, in life, no limits. What Deadwood? I think, he's just responding to something he saw there. According to reports, then Dembele could come to Chelsea. Yeah, it's looking likely, but there's no guarantee given what's out there. There are quite a lot of conflicting reports. Coach, the goalkeeping position is different. You can't not change the goalkeeper just like that for chemistry's sake. I understand your argument, but that was poorly handled. Again, most people will say it's sentiment. I don't think it's sentiment. No more 5 defenders in the back, Chelsea. We'll see what happens. What about Lukaku? He may well join Inter Milan. So back to the panel. Helgi, remember, I'm getting the feedback when your mic is not muted. So please, you might want to find how you deal with that. Let us know what you think about the Jules Kounde reports, what you know, and why again, what you think about, what will happen to what's his name, Trevor Chalobah when Jules Kounde comes, because remember, Chalobah only got the chance to play because we weren't able to sign Koundé.
First and foremost, I expect the transfer to be done, and as the first signing of the summer, maybe if we are as serious as it has been rumored, not concretely reported, but has been, as it stands, it is in the category of rumors from Dembele. I expect both of them to be the first signings, which should be reinforcements that can be very useful from next season. But regarding the player himself, I haven't watched him much consistently, but I like at him, according to the reports, that he has been very determined to help materialize this kind of move, which is very impressive to see. And also it has been rumored that he has even refused other London clubs or even the opportunity to go somewhere else, just to make sure that he wears our kit from next season. So this is very encouraging to see, and I expect it to happen. About your question about regarding the effect that his incoming will have on Chalobah, I don't see any problem.
We're not sure yet what's going to happen because Rodrigo argued that Chalobah will be okay. But go ahead.
Yeah, I expect him to be okay as well, because we aren't in a period that are stuck with defenders. We are in a period that, let's say, have some problems in numbers. So now we have to rebuild the defense from the very beginning, and it's good to have Thiago and Chalobah remaining at the club and committing their futures with new contracts last season. So I can't see the slightest of problems, and on top of that, I didn't see a problem even last year when we had Rudiger and Christensen and who are leaving, and possibly Alonso is also leaving, because the number of games in a Premier League season combined with the cup competitions and Champions League is enough for 3 or 4 players with quality to have their own game time, and City and Liverpool squads have proven this in every kind of department, so defense, midfield and attack. So, and especially now at this moment that are expected to 100% have at the club only 2 of our defensive-minded players, let's say in this way, maybe 3 along with Chile or 4 with Reece. But that's also the things that have to be done, is that his addition will be a necessity to add numbers and quality in the back line, rather than looking as a sort of obstacle for one of the promising young defenders that we have. So it's just, let's say, an increase in quality and numbers. So if there is no block in pathway or a sort of suggestion that he will hamper Chalobah's development, absolutely not. They both can coexist, and it's a necessity that we sign defenders at the time, and quality ones. So I go into that point and saying that it would be disappointing to see only Koundé arriving as a defender. There is no wonder that we are linked with a host of other names. So of course there is no discussion of blocking Chalobah's path, but the discussion should be whether Koundé alone or even another defender along with Koundé are enough. So it's the other extreme of discussion that I think raises a question mark, in my opinion.
I know you always come with an argument that you got me rethinking what I'm saying. But then again, before I go to Fairboy to state his come in with his own opinion, again, I want to ask the people who are watching. We have 139 people. We had 179 people plus watching before. So please, we can do better than 75 likes. Let's shoot at least 150 likes. If you haven't, please do take a second to like the video. The more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the stream will be pushed to more people who would be interested in what we're talking about here. And also, again, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you're happy, yes, that we've come to the end of the tunnel with regards with things, all that stuff we've been through for the past 2 months or so, or 3 months regarding the sale of the club. But we've overcome that. Please show some love by liking the video. and subscribing to the channel if you haven't. I'm going to come to you in a bit, Fairboy. Let me just catch up here. It says, yes, let's get it to 100 likes. Check if you haven't, please do that. It takes a second and it doesn't cost anything. Do you think Tuchel will change his formation next season? Again, I've argued that he may well change the system if he gets the player he wants. But True Blue, who's there in the chat, have a very strong argument saying that's a chance he will not do that. He said actually he doesn't see him doing that. And also he says if he doesn't do that, that creates a problem for him. The players won't be happy, and he may well lose his job. But again, let me continue that. By the way, it says right up from day one, I did not support the signing of Lukaku because he's too heavy. Again, Lukaku is a fine player. You know, the most pronounced reason why he isn't doing well, it's just he doesn't fit in the way Thomas Tuchel plays. And Thomas Tuchel has said openly he's not willing to build a team around a single individual. He's not willing also to change the system because of a single individual, which means the best option will be for both parties to part ways. Lukaku goes where he will be accommodated, and Tuchel finds a striker that suits his style of play. And I wouldn't blame Tuchel that much either, because there are rumors that Lukaku wasn't his signing. It was the signing of Roman Abramovich. But the truth remains that Tuchel okayed that before they said, okay, we're going to get him. He said after the Watford game, he's not changing. As if I knew you were going to get a response from him. And he's saying it here. And he didn't. That's not the lie. Tuchel said that. So it remains to be seen what happens. Some are saying it just doesn't want to show his to show his hands, but we'll see what happens. Please, we don't need late signings. Again, this time that may well be the case because we were under restrictions that didn't allow us to put pen to paper with clubs and the individuals we want to sign. Yes, we were allowed to talk with them, but we weren't allowed, to complete the process. So that's a huge restriction. Even Tuchel did say something about it publicly. And my brother Fairboy says, smash the like button. And bro, please, can you send me the name again to your channel, because it's fairly new. I don't have it. I think it is Fair Player Analysis YouTube channel. I think if I'm correct, if I'm wrong, please send me in the private chat so that when I say it, I'll say it correctly. Spurs already signed 2 players. That's because they were able to finalize the process even before the window or beforehand, but we're not allowed to put pen to paper when we had the restrictions in place. And by the way, Preston, nice to see you again, my brother. How are you doing? Luis Garcia, he's not a changing system. Again, get it into your head because True Blue will start fighting you next. Rudiger to Madrid. Yeah, he's gone. You look like you're a Madrid supporter. I wish him well. He's been a great servant for us. But again, like True Blue said, he could have waited for Boely to take over. I think he'd already made up his mind to leave Chelsea no matter what. Forget that. I don't want to go into it. Preston, no, we don't want panic buys. I hope that changes. That would change. But right now, we're in a very, very bad situation given the restrictions that we were under before. The thing is, Chelsea is rebuilding. To some players, it will be a good news. Why to some, not so good. It is true that Lukaku might end up at Bayern. I'm not sure about the Bayern link, but that may well be the case. But I'm sure about the Inter Milan links. Now, back to the panel. LSG, your thoughts, or what do you think? Or if you have an update regarding the Jules Kounde's links to Chelsea, go ahead with it. But I want to know what happens to Trevor Chalobah, because I've discussed that with Rodrigo. Trevor Chalobah stayed because we couldn't sign Jules Kounde. Now we have Koundé. What happens to Trevor Chalobah if he comes? Fairboy, are you there? Okay.
Oh, sorry. I think we're referring to someone else. Sorry. Okay, so big up to everyone on the panel. I hope you're all doing brother. All right. Now, we are talking about Chalobah and who? Koundé.
Jules Kounde, yeah. Because let me explain this again. Chalobah stayed because we were not able to sign Jules Kounde. You get that now? Now there's a chance. There's a high chance we sign Jules Kounde, and if it comes, what happens to Chalobah?
Okay. I get your point now. I think there was one person in the panel who spoke about the fact that Koundé would provide some level of competition to Trevor Chalobah. And I agree with him 100%. I agree with him. You see, let's understand this, that Chalobah is a very young player, right? I also understand that Koundé too is a young player. But if you look at the experience levels of these two players, Koundé is much more experienced. Koundé has faced bigger teams and have been able to come out of it.
Another reason why I'm asking. Great point. Great point, fair boy. That's another reason why I'm asking. But go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me let you finish first. Go ahead, brother.
Yes. So I'm building the point. I'm building the point. When Chalobah played against Liverpool as an example, you see the way a player like Ruben Diaz manhandled him. Okay. So when it comes to when we talk about big game experience, I think Chalobah lacks that. Okay. So he will struggle a bit, but he's a good player. I think that Chalobah will get his opportunities. I don't think that Jules Kounde will displace him entirely. I think he will also get his opportunities, but I think he would also need to be a bit patient, right? And I think the challenge with Chalobah is that Jules Kounde is also fairly young. I think he might be 23 or 24. I don't remember
around that number.
Around that number. So he's also very, very young. I think that will pose a challenge, because if he's that young, there is a possibility that you might not get game time if you are also a young player. Okay. But I think that notwithstanding all these obstacles to Chalobah's making it into the first team, I think there are other things that could also help him, right? I think the introduction of the 5 subs, okay, will do something. And the fact that you'll be competing in a lot of competitions would also give Chalobah the chance to also play some of the game. And I think that Chalobah right now should not think about regular football, because he's not that experienced yet. He still has a lot of learning to do, right? So I think Koundé is someone he can learn from. Koundé, as I've just mentioned earlier, is someone who is very, very versatile. He's a very intelligent player. So if Chalobah has anything to learn, he can learn from Koundé. And he can do that only if he's patient and he wants to sacrifice for the club, just to learn from those who are that experienced from him. So I think that Koundé coming into the Chelsea squad wouldn't affect Chalobah's development, as in the amount of game time he plays. Of course, it will be a little less, but he will get enough game time to be able to develop himself.
Yeah. Again, this question caught my eye here, Bobby. Here's the thing. Let me quickly. Which other defender? I think I will highlight this, so we'll talk about it in a bit. Says, don't get this question with all these defenders leaving. Why will a Koundé rival be a problem to Chalobah? So many obvious reasons. He, in the first place, stayed because we weren't able to sign Koundé. And we're looking to sign Marc Cucurella. And we're looking to sign Marc Cucurella, or what's the other game? The Italian left back that plays for Inter Milan. That he's currently out injured.
Hakimi.
Who?
Hakimi.
Not Hakimi. No. He plays for Inter Milan. I've forgotten his name. But that's, by the way, my point is, again, what happens? We're just being objective here. So I'm just referring to Bobby's question. So it is really a concern. And believe me, Chalobah himself and his camp will be concerned, because it's a World Cup year. And we're going to have 5 subs. But if you're starting from the bench as a 5 subs, then you have a problem. And Tuchel is known, whatever team he's coached, he's known to prefer certain players over the other. And to him, he could care much less about the other person until the other one nearly dies. I don't know how else to phrase it. Ty, you can come in. You heard everything Fairboy said, and you see what Bobby has on the screen here. you could talk about that too if you want to. Tai, have we lost you? Are you still there? All right, Rodrigo, you go ahead. Can you respond?
Yeah.
Respond. Sorry.
Yeah, we called it. Yeah. I'll respond to that. Yeah. So yeah,
go ahead.
I get it. The reason we're concerned is because they both play in the same position. That's the reason I asked earlier. Can Koundé play as a left-sided centre back or as a middle of the back three? I think he played in the middle of the back three. I think in 1 or 2 preseason games, if I'm not mistaken. So
but didn't lead well. He didn't lead well. Even during the normal season, I think he got a chance. Chalobah got a chance to lead the back line, and he did quite poorly then.
Against Brentford, did he play in the middle of the back three?
I don't remember when he played that, but I researched that. But the truth is, I don't think he'd be able to lead because he's not. He's comfortable on the ball, but he's not the best at that. He can panic under pressure, and sometimes he makes some rash, decisions trying to use his head when he should use his leg. That has happened more than once. So it can. It's a concern really, and I'm sure his camp will be concerned because I love him. I want him to stay. When we were going for what's his name, going for Koundé, I did a video with Taron, my brother Taron Sachdiva. I was asking him, why are we looking at Koundé given how well Trevor Chalobah did during the preseason games he played for us? But that's, by the way, go ahead, Rodrigo. You were making a point.
Yeah, if Chalobah could play competently in different positions, I wouldn't be too worried about his playing time. But it will be a concern for him, for sure. It will be a concern. But for me, what I hope is patient enough to know his time will come, and when his time comes, he should take whatever opportunity comes his way and try to prove to Tuchel that he should be the guy that start games on the right hand side. Maybe we can discover that Jules Kounde, people are saying he's versatile. So maybe he can be the guy that plays on the left. Maybe that's the plan here. So maybe the guy that can play on the left and Chalobah on the right. Or maybe Koundé can even be the guy that plays in the middle of the back three. Again, that's yet to be seen. So I'm really concerned about that. Although of course we have a lot of defenders, but if you have a lot of people that play in one position, it doesn't matter how many defenders you have. There will be a pecking order. If you're at the bottom of it, you're not looking at we only have 4 defenders, but I'm the guy that can't get game time because I'm on the right side, and the manager's not looking at me. So I think maybe we'll see in preseason. This preseason will reveal a lot of things. This is why I want Koundé to come. Then he can't come because he's at the Nation League.
Everything has to be completed, and the window has to be open before he can come.
Yeah, I want to see a different combination. Preseason is the only place where you will see what the manager is thinking, what he's thinking in defense, where he wants to put his players.
You can figure out a lot on your own. Go ahead.
A lot on that. So it's a concern, but I think Chalobah, unlike other young players, I think if he has this, it's depending on the support group he has around him. Hopefully, they're not gonna push him and tell him, "Listen, you need to push this Chelsea team so you can play first team football." I think he can be patient. And he will get his time. We'll play a lot of games this year, but he wants to play meaningful games as well. I don't think he just want to be the FA Cup.
No, there's no way.
after come out from this, his first season, even he will probably think, next year I'm thinking of playing of the 38 games in the league. Maybe I want to play at least 15, something like that. So I really hope it will work out. It will work out as Koundé become more. I hope Koundé can play on the left-hand side because we haven't been linked to any centre-back that plays on the left of the back three.
Yeah, Rudiger was a miracle for us.
Exactly.
It happened for accident. He executed it quite well. You wouldn't even know that he primarily uses his right foot.
Right.
Yeah.
Coach.
Go ahead. I wanted to bring Eric in, but go ahead.
Okay. What I would say is, yes, I agree with Rodrigo with his explanation to why Trevor Chalobah will still get game time and other things. I agree with him, and that he needs to be patient, and his time will come. You see, what Bobby should also get is that the centre-back position is quite delicate, and any error you make will cost us, right? You see, as we've just mentioned about Chalobah's, how should I say, being prone to making errors. The Chelsea fans don't forgive errors. Let's be honest. We say, oh, we need to be patient with the player. We don't forgive errors. Okay? The reason why someone like Tomori left is because of that. Tomori makes mistakes.
He made quite a lot, but we weren't patient with him.
Yes. And that's what, for me, I fear. So that is why I'm saying that such young players, if they have older guys ahead of them, they should just be patient. They will get their time. Let them learn to make sure that they can take away a lot of the errors that are in their games. Then they could play. And as I just said, Koundé has much more big game experience. When it comes to big game experience, he has it. And he's performed quite well. He's played against Barca. He's been able to perform well. Against Madrid, he's been able to perform well, right? And other teams that are similar in terms of strength compared to the team he's playing, he's been able to perform well. In the Champions League too, we see his performances. So for that reason, if he's going to share a position with Chalobah, I don't think it's a problem. Okay? And look, since we need our team to be stabilized, right? Now is not the time to just hand the academy boys with first team football. We need the experience first. Let them stabilize the team first. Then, if you want to introduce them, we introduce them. I think his concern was like, with all the defenders leaving, why will Koundé's arrival be a problem to Chalobah? Yes, because we are going to fill the rest of the positions with experience. Okay, so that is where the competition lies. So I think that if Koundé would want to still play for Chelsea, it is just about patience. It's a matter of time. You get game time. I don't think that Thomas Tuchel would just ignore the good performances that he would bring out or put out. If he performs well,
you're in for the shock of your life, and I can argue that with you tomorrow. But go ahead.
Look, Koshila, look. You see the Hakim Ziyech scenario you just talked about.
Not even Hakim Ziyech. I talked about the Mendy case, and there are other cases too. But go ahead.
No.
We're here to talk about
transfers. About the one we talked about. Some time ago, right? We talked about that one some time ago about Hakim Ziyech playing well, but later on, after Mount was fit, then we brought him in, right? I think the reason why Thomas Tuchel did not fancy him in the team is because he lacks that work rate to press, okay? He's one-dimensional. And Thomas Tuchel loves players who can do a lot of things for him. And Hakim Ziyech is not that guy, right? Per the system we want to play. He wants Hakim Ziyech to play as an inside forward, and he's not able to perform like that for him. So I think that is how the manager operates. If you're able to do the work he wants you to do, he's going to do so. And I think that he's not the only one. A lot of managers do that. They have their favorites. Okay? Mourinho had his favorites. Jurgen Klopp, he had his favorites. At one time, it was Mohammed Salah, Firmino, and Mane. Okay? The rest of them were not able to get into the team because they were not so fit for the manager's system or style of play, right? They were not that as good as the players he had available. So it's like that. If you play well, you might become the manager's favorite. So if Chalobah puts up good performances, Coachella, I doubt, even though you might disagree with me, I doubt that the manager would ignore him. So Chalobah should just have patience. His time will come.
Okay, I hope that's the case. Eric, if you don't mind, please allow me just a minute to catch up with those in the chat. We'd like to keep it interactive here, and I'll come back to you, brother.
Of course.
No wahala. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It says Silva, not Koundé. Okay, maybe something he said. Koundé can play RCB. That's actually where he plays mainly at Sevilla. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's a problem for Chalobah. That's what we're talking about. Where does Chalobah fit when he comes? Again, I get the rotation of the talk about rotation. Tuchel doesn't rotate defensive area that much, and believe me, I followed him long enough to know he always has preferences. And the other person who's not the preferred player, has to wait until the person he prefers breaks an arm and leg, or maybe loses his side before he decides. But we'll see. I hope that changes. Bastoni was the name I was looking for. And here, which other defenders are we linked to besides Koundé? I think we'll be linked to Bastoni. I'm not sure how truthful that is, but we'll see. And we have... Here saying Chelsea has a lot of competition next season, and both Chalobah and Koundé should stay at the club. I'm more for us staying. I'm more for us having a big squad, but we're Chelsea Football Club. But what we do here at Chelsea Perspective, we keep things objective. We try to see things from a different perspective and not just go by what we believe is the case. That's why we bring opinions and try to come to a sensible conclusion by the end of the show. But I think, it will be a concern. Again, that's how I see it. Again, this is Bobby. It's not a concern. Koundé is one player. Chelsea FC is losing up to 4 defenders. Yep, but the truth is, Chalobah, can he comfortably fulfill the left center-back position? I know you're thinking there may be space for him. What if we sign Koundé and sign Koulibally and sign Cucurella? Where is the space? You got to consider all those things. But that's, by the way, I'll get to you soon, Bobby. But that's great input because it sparked a serious debate on the panel, and that's how I love it. Again, and I like it that everybody here, we're all civilized. Nobody is insulting each other. That makes a huge difference. We have 5 subs next season, but I won't be surprised seeing Tuchel make 2 subs at 6 minutes while losing 1-1. You can argue that, and there are reasons why. You have every right to argue that. They're both versatile. Again, but we are not even sure which position will Koulibaly play. That is if we're going to sign him, whether RCB or middle or the back 3 definitely. And again, there's nothing serious about Koulibaly. If you ask me, everything we've seen so far, you could argue, are all just speculations. Chalobah is a midfielder too. Do you know that? He can play in that position, but he doesn't specialize in that position. And maybe Tuchel could consider playing him there. You never know. Chalobah leads excellently in the center of the 3. I disagree with that. I don't think he's experienced enough and calm enough on the ball to lead as well as Thiago Silva does. Can he lead at the back 3? He can, but you see that he's not that experienced because Thiago Silva leading the back line, he doesn't even need to talk. He can lead by where he passes the ball. He can, again, that's where that leadership in terms of leading the back line comes into play. Thiago Silva, even though he's a defender, is a link to our midfield and our attack at the same time. How he does that, that's another matter for another day. It is not fair enough for us to have 2 good players in each position for healthy competition. It is. Look at Man City. It is. But the truth is, we're just talking about Chalobah. We're just concerned about Chalobah because of the way Tuchel operates. If you ask me, competition is good, and I'm a big advocate of that. But here's the thing: the person that that doesn't get the chance to start as many games as the other person usually gets frustrated. But like Bobby would say, let them deal with it. They get paid a lot, and I'm all for that. But we have to talk about it, and that's why we're here. Have to watch out for Dusan Solid, and I'm hearing that Tuchel really likes him. So maybe that's why we're not serious. I think he plays on the left-hand side, right? Maybe that's the reason why.
Right wing back.
Right wing back. Okay, I thought they're saying he's versatile enough to play on the left. Okay, but we'll see what happens. Again, you have almost 100 likes, people. Before I go to Eric, we have 99 likes. Please, it doesn't take much to like the video. Go ahead, like the video, show that you're happy that our club did not go down as rival fans. I think it would. And also subscribe to the channel if you happen to help us reach 2K subscribers as soon as possible. Now we're at 2,325. We're averaging 60 subscribers every day. And with 2 shows every day, I think we should be averaging at least 100 subscribers per day. Says bring Lewandowski as soon as possible. That's a difficult one. I think it's not as simple as it sounds. We need experience at the back line. Imagine if Thiago Silva gets injured, who would lead the back line? And the closest person we had at the club that's proven that he's capable of leading the back line as comfortable as Thiago Silva, maybe not to an equal measure, but he's command the ball. Coolest eyes is Andreas Christensen. Unfortunately, we are losing him. Silva is a maestro. He has no measure. So, Eric, your thoughts on what happens to Chalobah when Jules Kounde comes?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me once again.
More thanks to you, brother.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed or you're not liking the stream, I don't know what you're doing. Please, guys, like the stream, subscribe, share everything. Yeah, fantastic channel.
Thank you very much, brother.
I don't just say that, I really mean it. I think Chalobah will maybe be a squad player. I think that's fair to say. Even though he's done well last season, I think he'll probably be a squad player behind Koundé. But I think that's fine. That's not a problem at all. I don't think you should.
That's from us, the fans.
Yeah, and the fans need to learn. I think they'll have to learn the hard way. Some of these fans who think that now that Koundé has come in, maybe Chalobah needs to get sold because we don't need him or something silly like this. I don't know why some of our fans think this way, but that's just completely wrong. Chalobah doesn't need to be worried about his future, and we don't need to sell him because there's more than enough room for him. That's what you call squad depth. So it doesn't make any sense to even think in any way like that. For me, yeah, he will be a squad player probably, and I know that he's versatile. He can play other positions, so he may even be involved in other positions on the pitch. Who knows? But I'm not worried about that at all. They can both fight for their place, even though I think Koundé will probably be the number one. Tuchel will probably favor him over Chalobah. That's fair, but Chalobah can just keep fighting for his place. When he gets his chance, he needs to take it, and that's it. And I still think Koundé will make mistakes himself. It's not like he's a 27, 28.
No, he's not perfect. He's just a year older.
Yeah, exactly. And say whatever you want about the experience he has, he's not that much older. So that will only go so far, like you said, Coach. So yeah, I'm not worried at all. I don't even know if this is a contentious topic.
Yeah. Before I go to go ahead. You were still saying something, brother.
Yeah, for me, there's nothing to this. I don't know if the guys were arguing too much about it, but I was listening and it didn't seem like any kind of big deal for me. So
I get your point. We're just trying to see things from his own camp's perspective because there's a chance he wants to go to the World Cup, and if he doesn't play that much game, I don't think he'll get England call up. Except if he decides to represent his father's home country. I forgot what country it was. It is actually. But let me ask you this before I go to Bobby. The Jules Kounde deal, there's a language you use which sounds as if he's joined us already. What do you know that we don't know, Eric?
Language. I'm not sure.
You guys heard him, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
What did I say?
Something like he's here, or is this Koundé is here, or something like that, or some similar language. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. Look, for me, Koundé may as well be in that Chelsea shirt. I think it's done. We're just waiting for the announcement. I think we agreed personal terms with him last season, so it's just a formality at this point. It's like when
one was scared. I feel like it's a Robinho repeat. We were selling Robinho shirt. So we had him.
No.
I hope that doesn't happen. I think we'll move heaven and earth to get him. Given the issue we have now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. Look, Koundé he's a Chelsea player. It's just a formality. It's like the Todd Boely thing. Like we all knew Todd Boely was the new owner with the consortium, and it was just about the announcements after that. So that is a similar situation with Koundé. Dembele, not too sure, not as certain with him. Let's keep watching, but I always believed Koundé would be signed at some point.
And he wants to come.
And he wants to come. And he's been wanting to come for a long time, which is huge for me. That means a lot to me. So hopefully, he gets signed, he gets announced, on the deadline opening day. That'll be fun. The opening of the window, the day the window opens. I don't even know when that is. A few weeks from now.
10th of June.
Okay, 10th of June. Hopefully 10th of June.
That's like 8 days.
So it's going to get announced. It's going to get announced. No one needs to worry about it.
I really like the player. Let me ask you this quickly before I go to Bobby. Your thoughts and people's concern. Like I said, even the editor for Chelsea Perspective blog, he released an article, saying why Chelsea fans should be concerned about Jules Kounde's height. I've never had an issue with that. I think he has a good leap in him. Your thoughts on some people, some people's concern on his height, regarding his height.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point, but it depends on how he plays. We don't really have too much history to go back on in the Premier League to look at. This is where a player of his height has been successful. But I know that Azpi has played as a centre back at times, and he was effective alongside Terry. I think also a few times, and we won the league. So I think the height is not a big deal when you can jump. When you have good timing, good leap, height is not a problem. Honestly, that's the main thing that height is important for set pieces and defending aerial duels and things like this. So if you can jump, doesn't matter if you're not as tall. That's the truth.
Yeah, he can leap. He has a great leap in him. Again, of course, Taron Sajdiva described him. He can leap like a salmon from water. And I had to go research it and see. Yes, he's got a great leap in him. So that makes a good point about people will always find reasons to doubt a player. Bobby, coming to you. I want you to start. Let us know what you know about our pursuit of Jules Kounde before you talk about the good question you asked, great input you added to the chat regarding our concerns regarding Trevor Chalobah.
Yeah, as always, thanks for having me on the stream.
More thanks to you. More thanks to you.
I can't be here long now. I'm really exhausted. It's been a long day. But I just had to respond to this, and I have to answer both of them at once. And take them one at a time really quickly. First of all, the issue of Chalobah and Jules Kounde, that's just ridiculous. Jules Kounde, all this talk of him leaping, whatever, you don't know what the Premier League is until you're here. It is a physical league. Height matters in the defensive position. That's the problem Kepa has in goal, height. That's the reason Tuchel likes Chalobah, height. Now, even the great Thiago Silva was embarrassed in his first game in the Premier League. It may take Koundé a few games to settle in, or maybe even as much as a season. His height is a disadvantage. Let's not kid ourselves. Now, if he has speed, mobility, he will probably end up like Azpi, more on the right side of the centre-back position in front of a tall centre-back, or a right wing-back rotating with Reece James. That's where he's going to be. I don't see him as a fixture in that centre-back position, whether you're playing a back three, especially in the back two, because of height. It matters. Christensen had the height, but he lacked the strength. That's another thing. This is a physical, brutal league.
He was a good aerially, though. He is a good aerially.
Well, he was average. There were some headers he would miss and that, but he was good enough. This is a brutal physical league. Managers study you. They know how to play against you for weeks.
Bobby, I thought it's Azpilicueta.
I've just mentioned Azpi. Azpi was used sparingly in the centre-back position because of that. Azpi found himself mainly on the right side or as a right wing-back or indeed as a right full-back because of his height. Let's keep it real. And I think very much that will happen to Jules Kounde. Now, as far as Chalobah is concerned, what are we saying? Real Madrid have just signed Rudiger, and they've got Rudiger, Militao, and Alaba, and I've forgotten the name of their other centre-back. That is strength in depth. We're busy worrying about Chalobah. They don't give a roots whatever. They have their strong centre-back four. They're not all going to get to play at once, but they have enough game time to share it round. And that's where we are. Chalobah is a player under development. He's still developing. He's always going to be a squad player breaking in and finding his way. The only place we will have a problem is in that back three position, where when Thiago wasn't around, often Rudiger would play there in place of Thiago. We don't have that now. Even if we get Koulibally, he's going to need time to get used to the pace, maybe not so much the strength and not the height, because he has that naturally, but certainly the pace and the trickery and the studying of your play of the opposition. He's going to need time. We are in a rebuild situation. We're not strengthening our squad. We are rebuilding the squad. We have lost, or we potentially will lose, 4 defenders. Do you know what that means? Four defenders. 4. We can't get rid of Chalobah. He's probably one of the most experienced defenders in the Chelsea team and the Chelsea way we're going to have by the time we get these new guys in. No, I don't see that argument at all.
We're not saying sell him. I hope you recognize that. We're just figuring out, okay, how is it going to happen for him? Where is the game time going to come from him?
Oh, he's going to get game time for sure. He's going to get game time. 5 subs, 63 games that we played this season. Okay, we're not doing the World Club Cup, so we take away 3 from that. You know, Chelsea play a lot of games, season in, season out. I don't know how successful we'll be because, you know, with this new team, we don't know what the team is going to be. But if we are the Chelsea of old, there is certainly going to be ample game time.
But Bobby, I want to be a devil advocate here. What if Chalobah wants to play meaningful games? Not the old League Cup, 3rd round, FA Cup, 4th round.
No. That's fan mentality. Those boys know what's up, especially the people that came through the academy. They know what time of day it is. They know they have to bide their time. They know this. It's the fans that don't know this, talking about meaningful games. What's a meaningful game? Every game is meaningful. You put on that blue shirt, it's a meaningful game. You know what I mean? And that's where you establish yourself. If he is going to want to displace any of the so-called first teamers, right now they're non-existent, because it's left to be seen who we're going to get in, he has to perform, and he knows that. That's why he sunk to his knees when he scored a goal in his first debut, because he knows what it means. So all this, he needs this, he's going to be unhappy. This is Chelsea fan talk. It's not the real It's not the real world at top flight football. It is not. Liverpool defenders, look how many defenders they've got. None of the Liverpool fans even talk about it. Matip comes on for Van Dijk. He's been sat on the bench for weeks. What, you mean he doesn't play meaningful games? Come on, guys. We've got to move on from this talk.
Here's the thing, Bobby. You make a very concrete argument, again, in terms from the club's own perspective. We need a squad depth to compete, in all competitions, on all fronts, if you want to phrase it that way. We're just trying to see, again, there's a chance that may well be the case. There's a chance it may not be the case. There's a chance we're moving to the left and he performs very well. He starts even more game than he could ever dreamed of. But that's, by the way, Bobby, let me ask you this. Are you confident that we're going to get Koundé?
Well, I mean, from
in case you know something we don't know. That's why I'm asking this question.
It'll be difficult to know anything. You know, Chelsea don't publicize their deals. And we've had the restrictions on us. Jules Kounde has been seen around London. I mean, I believe that come June the 10th, he will be a Chelsea player. I personally believe that. It wouldn't make sense if he isn't. But, you never know. June 10th, we might end up showing somebody else holding that blue shirt.
Would you say the same about Ousmane Dembele?
From what I've been reading and from the signals of people that have actually seen him here in London at the airport and
Dembele
in various
too.
places. It looks like that has been is very, very much on the card. One thing we should feel confident about is this guy hasn't signed a deal with Barcelona, nor has he agreed to move to PSG. He's been clicking his heels for some reason. What other reason could it be other than Chelsea to sort out their ownership?
Why do I ask you that question, Bobby? Again, everything points that he's coming to Chelsea. There are lots of a ton, if you prefer, of conflicting reports out there. Some say the deal is done. Some say he's signed with Chelsea, which is impossible. But the only thing is that the truth is he can't join us until the window opens. Yeah, he can sign with us, right? Because we're no longer any under any restrictions. So there are conflicting reports. If you go there and check it yourself, some people are saying it's done, but I'm sure that's not the case. If it's done, I only believe it's done until we get an official announcement from the club.
Yeah.
But go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is it's not done until you see him at the bridge with the blue shirt, shaking hands with Marina or whoever it is he'll shake hands with. That's when it's done. Everything else will always be neither here nor there. But the rumor mill is so strong in the favor of him coming here that it's likely he will come here.
Yeah, again, thank you very much, Bobby. That's always nice to have you on the panel. And you asked a question, I like that kind of question. How do I phrase it? It stirs a good argument, which we all can learn something from, because none of us is perfect. So, Ty, I don't know if you're there. I'm going to come to you next. Ty, are you there? It looks like we've lost Ty. Rodrigo, I'm going to come to you. We've talked about Dembele. We've talked about what's his name, Jules Kounde, and you could say right now you could argue those are the only players we can say yes. Chelsea are really interested in securing their signatures, because the rumor mill, like Bobby said, it is really strong. Any other player you want to tell us that you think, or you've heard that the club is going after in the defensive department, because that's obviously, will be the club's priority that we haven't talked about here.
Yeah, obviously the obvious one that we've heard a lot, or journalists are always linking him to us, is Kalidou Koulibally from Napoli. I think personally he's a signing that I would love to see at Chelsea. He brings experience. He brings versatility, as he can play. I believe he can play in a back three, in the middle, or even on the left hand side of a back three. And obviously he speaks French. And then if you look at the core of our defense, we have Mendy speaks French, him, Thiago, and Koundé when he joins. So the communication will be easier on the field. So even Aspi speaks French, so communication will be easier as well. So hopefully he joins. And midfielders, the only midfielder that we've been linked to, and apparently Thomas Tuchel really likes, and Todd Boely will probably back him up on this one, is Declan Rice. The issue we have with Declan Rice is always has been the price. How much would West Ham be willing to accept? The only way we could get a good price there is if Rice put in a transfer request. I don't know if Rice is the type of player to do that to the club where he's actually captain. And with Mark Noble leaving, he's the main man in their midfield. So that's a player. Again, he's a player that I would love to see at the club. I think he has qualities that will benefit us. But it's just that issue of a price tag, and are West Ham willing to really sell the captain? And obviously the final one is the man you have on a picture right there, Ousmane Dembele. I like Ousmane Dembele. In a strange way, Ousmane Dembele will actually be a player that can help Lukaku. When you look at Lukaku characteristics, because what Dembele does really well is he beats his man, go to the byline, and put in a good cross in. I don't see Dembele as an inside forward that will score you 10, 15 goals a season. I don't see him as that player. I see him as a guy that's willing to take his man on and is happy to provide lots of assists. So we need to have some presence in the box. Kai Havertz does that, but Kai Havertz is he likes to wander around the pitch. Sometimes he's not in the box at the expected time. So maybe he's the guy that could help Lukaku. Again, we know Lukaku wants to leave, so I'm in two minds. I want Dembele to join. Maybe they could be the partnership with Havertz or even Armando Broja.
Here's the thing. I get your argument, but I don't think even Dembele can help us solve Lukaku's issue. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that again. I hate to, but I just have to. Why? Because one of Lukaku's most pronounced issues is if you pay attention, he's not dynamic. His runs are not dynamic. Once he's moved, he stays there. He hardly readjusts. Because what makes big strikers, Lewandowski and others, is this, even though the ball, whether on the carpet or in the air, is already in motion, if they see a defender making a move to go stop it, they readjust. And sometimes they run in front of the defender to go finish. Maybe Lukaku hasn't done that quite well at Chelsea because he's frustrated and because he's not being, he's lost confidence. Again, the problem is bigger than that. And solving Lukaku's problem would mean, let me just, I don't know if this isn't exaggerating here, correct me if I'm wrong, we'd have to be a counter-attacking team for Lukaku to be at his best. Why? Because he operates with lots of spaces. Yeah, and you can't get that in the Premier League. And that's not how Thomas Tuchel plays. But that's, by the way, I get your point. Dembele will be great for us because he progresses the ball no matter how you press him. He never shies away from taking on his man and then moving down the flanks and putting in a good cross. Yeah, go ahead.
It doesn't. Coach, let me tell you something.
Sorry, it doesn't fix
something simple.
So let me hear something. I think Rodrigo was saying something. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
Sorry, I was going to finish with this. I don't think Dembele fixes our goal scoring issue. I don't think Dembele will provide you the volume of goals. What it will provide you is more assists and more movement.
But I'm saying, my argument is even he cannot help us solve Lukaku's problems at Chelsea. Yeah. Our approach to the game is the only solution, and I don't see us becoming a counter-attacking team that all we do is just sit back for team to come with us, and Lukaku stands there and waits. We get the ball and find him. That's never going to happen. Believe me, he's a fine player, and that's the only time he scores goals. But I'm just saying, majority is that he needs a lot of spaces to do well. You get the point. I know other people can, argue otherwise. Let me just try and catch up with the chat, and I'll come to you, fair boy. And hopefully Bobby was still here to add more to what we're talking about, because we'll round off in a few minutes. I have to go get my son from school. Says, heard about Sergio Dest from Barcelona, who might be a backup for backup. I'm not an advocate for calling players backup. You'd have to be a starter to come to Chelsea. You'd have to have good players, at least two players in every position that are capable of starting, so that when player A gets injured, you can be rest assured that player B will get the job done. But I think we'll Chelsea fans will be conditioned, I think, from the era through Mauricio Sarri, to have starters and backup. And even when we're signing players, we say, go get this player as a backup. See what happened when Reece James got injured. See what happened when Ben Chilwell got injured. See what happened when Kante got injured. See what happened when even Kovacic got injured. So, but that's, by the way, again,
that's something you've missed, if you don't mind. There's something you've missed which really caught my eye and reminded me of something else, which I think I sent you a DM about. Somebody posted, what about Serge Gnabry? And I'll add to that, what about Jonathan David?
Yeah, go ahead. Again, you can talk about Serge Gnabry, because right now, what we're doing right now is talk about players that we haven't talked about. You think the club that we're linked with, and maybe when you finish, Fairboy can come in. Fairboy, would you allow our senior Bobby to go ahead?
Let him go. Let him go on.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'll be done really. I mean, some people are talking about Dembele coming and feeding Lukaku. I think the Lukaku thing is done. All this lawyer involvement, and the sooner we can find a solution to liberate him and liberate us from him, the better for all parties concerned. I think going forward, looking at the mobile and flexible striker, looking at the likes of Serge Gnabry, my personal favorite would be Jonathan David. We don't need a superstar name. I think these guys would do a very, very good job at Chelsea and would fit into how Tuchel wants to play. I just thought I'd add that.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. He's a fine player. He's played in the Premier League before. Arsenal made a mistake. I don't recall if he wanted to leave or because he wanted to be starting games. I think it was Wenger that let him leave. He wanted to be starting games, but Wenger wasn't able to offer him that, so he left. And he's been brilliant ever since. I think even what's this guy that played for Man City before, the German international also.
Leroy Sané.
He's a fine player.
I rate him. Really rate him. In a
I rate him more than Sterling, honestly. But go ahead.
I don't. In a lesser league, you can do bigger things. In a league where you have maybe 2 or 3 major games, then you dominate all the others, smoking a cigar on the pitch. I'm not sure. That is the downside of perhaps even Serge Gnabry. But why I really like Jonathan David is people underestimate the French league. It may not be as technical as our league, but boy, is it physical. And if you can survive as a striker in that league outside of PSG, you must be some player.
Yeah, I do agree with you. So, Fairboy, any player you have in mind to talk about that we're linked with that we haven't talked about here? If you can focus on the defensive department, that would be fine. If not, go ahead.
Look, before I talk about any players we could be linked with, look, let me tell you something about Lukaku. Lukaku, in my local language, the way Lukaku plays, we say he's shy. When you say he's shy, that means that he's not that good. He's shy. Lukaku. Hey. We are too general. He's shy.
Oh my goodness.
Lukaku like Coachella, we are saying Lukaku plays a high line. You remember the games he played against Manchester City? High line, Manchester City with lots of space. And still Lukaku wasn't able to find space to operate in. Lukaku against Liverpool. I won't talk about him again. We have better players than him, so no problem. If he wants to go, he can leave. You remember early this morning, I mentioned this player, Antoine Semenyo, from Bristol City. He's a very good player, right?
Your Ghanaian
you might
brother.
say that. Yes, you might say it's a Ghanaian bias, but he's good.
No, it is actually, but go ahead.
Not intentional, though. We want to acknowledge that he's a very good player. Now, I revealed a certain stat about him, that he has provided 12 assists and 8 goals. So this shows that this player, even though he's a striker, can also be a creative outlet for us. He's that good. So if Chelsea, as Bobby said, we don't need superstar names, and this guy is not a superstar. So if we can also go for him, it's also good. He's very good. He can do the work of a target man as well as provide creativity. I think when it comes to wingers too, there are so many good wingers. There's Ousmane Boukari, who plays in the French league. He's also from Ghana. Kamaldeen Suleiman.
And now it's not. Now it's clear that it's not even biased.
He plays for Stade Rennes.
You heard me, Fairboy.
He's only scouting black.
No, I'm saying now it's not even biased. It's not biased. Now it's clear that it's not biased. Go ahead, brother.
But I'm shipping my countrymen to Chelsea Football Club. But anyways, but all I'm saying is we have very good wingers around who don't even play in the Premier League, right? And we can try and go for them. They could improve our team for the better. In terms of the defensive department, I think the usual names that we've been hearing, the Koulibally and co. I think Bastoni has also been linked.
But he's out injured.
He's injured. That'll be
he didn't play in Taz, I think, around 4 games or so, I'm not sure. But he's still out injured, actually.
Okay, I think Wesley Fofana won't be bad. For me, I think Wesley Fofana won't be bad.
For what position?
Has been out. He's a defender.
No, what position at the back? What position? Central or?
No, I think he can play as a left centre back.
Oh, okay.
His style of defending, he can play as a CB, like a central centre back, left centre back. He's a very good defender. I think he was the reason why Leicester City's season was derailed, because they lost him through injury. So now that he's back, I think Leicester City is picking up. And if you go for fun, I think he would improve our team massively. I was hearing talks about Soyuncu.
That's another player I'd like. I think he'd do well at Chelsea. But if you can round up quickly, I have just about 4 minutes to leave. I want to bring in Eric before I go pick up my son from school. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that's it for me. When it comes to the players who might be linked to, I think if we have a defender like Fofana, for me, my favorite is Fofana, right? I think you could improve our team. So I think that's it from my end. Yeah.
Yeah, good shout there. Before I go to Eric, brother, make I quickly catch up here. And this is you go hear what says Odogu. Odogu, I greet you, my brother. How you day? Nice to always see you around. Again, it looks like you missed the Blue Morning show today, but that's okay. I understand we're all busy because bills don't pay themselves. Dembele is confirmed. Did you see that on the website? You let me know. I quickly checked the website because you never know. Lukaku might be staying for one more season. Again, I hope it works out that he goes to Inter Milan, or even Bayern says, okay, give us Lukaku and take Lewandowski. But Bayern usually goes for players who are, you could argue, very, very technically gifted. And I don't think you describe Lukaku as that. Again, that's me, and that doesn't mean he's a bad player. Lukaku to go, since he cannot alliance with Tuchel style of play and get Nkunku. Again, it sounds easy. The Grims lady is always spotted. Most of the other guys are just tapping merchants. I am buzzing about it. We don't have that kind of creativity in our team. If that's the truth, again, I'd celebrate it here. If Ziyech cannot help Lukaku in our team, what makes y'all think Dembele can? Exactly. Ziyech, who's also good with long balls, then occasions he's found them, and with the net glaring in the team, the ball went wide. Next season, Tuchel has to make sure that no player talks to other clubs. Last season, some of our players dropped here. Really, I didn't know that. Lukaku might be staying. If he stays, again, I will not be surprised, because selling him was never going to be easy, given that we still owe Inter 70 million. The only viable option would be for him to return to Inter Milan. Again, then the loss will be a little less than it would be if we try to sell him to another club. Because if we sell him to another club, how much we will sell him, it's not Inter's business. We'd have to pay them how much we owe them. So the loss will be even more. If we get a Sterling Dembele, again, offload Lukaku, we're good in that forward department. And again, if Lukaku leaves, I'd even argue, let's not go for any out-and-out striker. Let's stick with what we have and bring in a Chalobah. I think we'll be fine. Again, that's my argument. So, Eric, I'm going to come to you, or any player in the defensive area. If you don't know any in the defensive area, pick another department. Tell us any player we're linked with, you can update us about, or let us know what's going on. Or if you want to talk about players you think we should go for, your choice, brother.
Unfortunately, I'm not I'm not the best person to come to with updates about these things. I haven't done any kind of research. I'm not in the loop at all. But I'll just tell you a player that I want to get potentially. I think we should be trying to get someone named Skriniar. I think Skriniar is a very good defender. And he seems like...
What team does he play for now?
Inter Milan. Lukaku's former team. So maybe we can do something with that deal. I'm not sure, but Skriniar is a very good player, and I believe he can make the step up to a team like Chelsea.
What position?
Yeah, he usually plays on the. I think he plays on the right. So or maybe on the. I mean, he can play on the left, but it would be a difficult thing, and he can play. He can play anywhere really. He has the quality to do it, but I think if we can get someone like him. Because I'm not really too keen on these young players, especially at the back. But if we can get him or Koundé, sorry, not Koundé, Koulibally, I think those are options that we can potentially use, maybe as a replacement or some kind of makeshift option to try to replace Rudiger. So that's what I'm hoping for. Somebody of that quality to elevate our team. He has a good age as well. I think he's 25. I didn't even know he was that young. So Skriniar seems like a very good option to potentially get from Inter. And if you get either of those, Koulibaly or Skriniar, I think either of them can play down the left, and that would help us a lot. Especially if you want to play with this back three, which, I'm hoping that Tuchel decides to change it, because for me, I want to see something different. I want to see us trying to play a back four, which is what Tuchel has done for a lot of his time as a manager. So,
do you think he's going to change things around?
No, he won't. I don't think he will change it. I think he will just try to make it better. He will make us. I think he wants to make us the best back three team in the world. So I mean, you can argue with that anyway right now, but he wants to make us potentially challenge other teams with that formation.
It's possible because
of course it is.
Yeah, because the truth is I think there's a way the application is different. His back three system is different from how Tuchel, Conte. From Conte's, his application is different. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, completely agreed. People who don't watch Chelsea, they just say, "Oh, back three defensive team, back five." We play defensive football, blah 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 blah. That's what they do to try to discredit what we did last season. But the truth is, anybody who watches Chelsea, you don't know we're a possession team. We have a lot of possession. That's what we try to do. We try to win the ball back high up the pitch. We're a counter-pressing team, similar to Liverpool in that way, which might explain why, all our games with them have been very close under Tuchel. I think we've been unbeaten in 90 minutes. We won the first game at Anfield 1-0, and then the others have been draws. 1-1 draw at Anfield, 2-2 draw at home, and 2-0 in the both cups. So I think we have a lot of work to do. It's going to be a big ask to not only replace the good players we had, and then also, elevate what we had as well. So you have to replace what we had, and then you have to improve the team from there. And then you have to try and challenge for the title. I don't think that's very realistic. So maybe 2 seasons from now, we can seriously challenge. But obviously, we're not going to say that. We won't have that mentality going into the games. We'll try and win every game like a big club should. But realistically, we shouldn't expect the title.
Yeah, but we should. We should. How do I phrase it to be correct? I think we should. Yeah.
France playing Denmark tomorrow at 9:45, and Koundé there's high chance that he might start the game. So it's a good game.
Yeah, if he joined the camp on time, he may well start.
Yeah. So
I hope not.
Because you don't want to get him injured.
No.
I think that makes sense. I think because again, I would have loved us to continue, but I have to leave now to get bring my son back from school. And I want to say thank you to everybody on the panel. I cannot thank you enough. And look at, I think most of them are on Twitter. I think Rodrigo isn't. Rodrigo, are you on Twitter?
No, just Instagram.
Oh, okay. But then again, maybe he joins Twitter soon. Since he comes onto the panel here, people need to follow you. So if anybody wants to reach you, they'd reach you. You can follow Bobby. You can follow Fairboy. Fairboy also has a channel, and the channel is called Fair Chelsea Analysis. I think you need to go check it out because he knows his stuff. And also go check out Tide Talks, a CFC YouTube channel. Make sure to follow him. He's approaching 200. I don't know if he's gotten there yet, but he knows what he's talking about. Follow Eric Blue on Twitter, my brother and a friend. Again, you won't regret it. Again, thank you very much to everybody in the chat. Also follow Bobby also. I cannot thank you enough. We are where we are today because of your support. It would not have been possible without you. So I want to say thank you to Charles R. Baldwin. Thank you to Hugo Hiawa. Thank you to Preston Philip, Steve Chelsea, the senior Mort in the house, Jonathan, and everybody else. If I miss your name, please forgive me. I'm only human. And with that, we've come to the end and the very first episode of the Chelsea Transfer Watch. I know he will get better with each episode. So see you guys tomorrow for another episode. And if you make it up for the Blue Morning Show, I'd really appreciate to see you that. So with that, see you guys tomorrow. God bless us all and bye.
Bye.